Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. My name is Alex. I'm here with Kev. Listen, Kev. Two wins on the bounce. We're going into the Nottingham Forest game. Obviously, this is the preview show, the Chelsea Fan TV preview show. Mate, I'm not going to lie to you. The last time we spoke was not before the Wimbledon game, but before the Luton game. A lot's changed since then. So, let's just have a little rundown, Kev, on how you feel based on what situation we were in last week and where we are now.
Yeah, it's a good position to be in. It's always good to get two home wins on the bounce, regardless of who you're playing. Luton, Wimbledon, can't say they're the massive clubs, but still you've got to play whatever's in front of you. In the Luton game, I did say it'd be 2-3-0, went and done the job. I think it was a difficult game in periods in the second half, but we withstood all the pressure and we came out 3-0. Can't ask for anything more. Wimbledon, couldn't tell you one player. All I know is Wimbledon local derby. They would have been fully up for it. They brought 4,500 fans. Sure, they got completely behind them. Didn't see much of the game, to be honest. But all I know is Enzo Fernandez got off the mark, which is well deserved, and that's a breath of fresh air. Personally, I would have probably gone with a stronger starting lineup, because I believe you just want to, once you've won a game, you want to keep the momentum going. So keep those players. I think if you'd started Jackson, Fernandez, all the strongest players, just give them another win under the belt, and then that goes into the Forest game. Obviously, we still come away with a win, but it could have been a lot better performance. But it set us up for a very difficult game against Forest. Hopefully we can bring the 3 points home and go into the international break with 3 home wins on the bounce, which is something we haven't done in good 2-3 years minimum.
2-3 years. Oh my god!
We haven't had 3 home wins in the bounce since Tuchel's first season, probably. So it's 2 years.
I hope you're wrong, but I don't actually know. We'll have to check that out. Let us know in the comments, guys.
Certainly didn't have 3 home wins in the bounce last year, so it's got to be the season before. That's 2 years ago. Yeah. So
that's mad. But yeah, mate. Well, to be fair, it's funny you talk about the Wimbledon game. Nobody could watch it. There was so many. All the comments on my last video that I did during the game, because I managed to get the Wimbledon goal. All the comments are just saying, "Go live, please give us a link or something." Nobody could watch the game. We couldn't even do a watch along. Harry couldn't even do the watch along on the channel because there was just nothing. So really weird one. I don't really understand why. I heard it was something to do with the sponsors and Carabao. They didn't want the game to get broadcasted, but surely the whole point is that you want people to watch because you're sponsoring the event. You want people to know about Carabao. So that doesn't really make much sense to me. I don't know all the details, but that's what I've heard. But yeah, mate, I'll give you a little rundown, Kev, from what I saw. Moreira made his debut. He was shocking, if I'm being honest with you. Ugachukwu looked okay. Colwell was good. Who else? Who else was Ryan Burstow made his debut, but didn't really see much from him either. Madueke was one of our bright sparks. He was solid, if I'm being honest with you. And I feel bad for Sanchez as well, because Wimbledon got a penalty that they never should have had. So he needs a clean sheet, man. He needs more than one clean sheet. I know we did one against Luton, but for me, a win against Forest isn't. It's still good enough. Don't get me wrong, a win's a win, but I think we need some clean sheets, because I'm not saying we're going to go out here and thrash every team 2 or 3-0, but you want to go out there and even if you just need one goal, you want to be able to hold on to it,
Yep, of course. Clean sheets. The defense is the first line of attack, and if your defense is doing well, all you need is a 1 or 2 goals to win the game. It's as simple as that. And defensively this season, we haven't been up to it. Attacking wise, a lot better. Defensively, not the best, but I'm sure as time goes on, they'll click. I think what it is, We've got Gusto, new into the team. Colwell, new into the team. One of his name, Dashar, that new Monaco guy, got his name.
Sassy.
Dasasi. I don't even know who he is. Dasasi, new into the team. We've got 3 of our main defenders new into the squad. It's got to need time for him to gel and to improve on the communication. I think like up till Christmas time, we'll start. You'll see as well as Sanchez as well in goal. So that's 4 of your defence that are new to a system, new to the team. So it's going to take probably up to 10 games for him to probably click and gel properly, and then hopefully we start seeing more clean sheets. But for me personally, I didn't think we need to work on the defence anyway. I think it was going forward, and we certainly see in a more fluent team going forward. We're seeing better triangles. We've seen players running beyond. We've seen players drop. We've seen 1-2s. It's a lot better to see on the eye. So as long as we can see some improvements going that way up the pitch, I'll speak for every Chelsea fan. It's happy days at the moment, isn't it? So let's hopefully we can
Which players do
improve.
you think are going to have the biggest impact then in terms of scoring goals, creating chances against Nottingham Forest?
It's going to be Sterling and Jackson again, isn't it? Sterling, Jackson, Madueke look good. So Madueke, if we could play him I'd definitely start Madueke. It wasn't even the fact that he played good against Wimbledon. It's just the fact that in pre-season he looked decent as well. And last season, the back of last end, he was our only bright spark. I think he deserves. So I'll probably go with Jackson, Madueke, and Sterling. If them 3 up front, Sterling and Madueke rotating each side, it could cause Nottingham Forest defence some problems. But if you're asking me, he's going to be the key for us to deliver and open up the door. Let's say Sterling. Sterling's been our best player this season, as well as Jackson. But for me, Sterling, if you get Sterling on the ball in and around the area, it'll cause them some problems.
Yeah, mate, I have to say as well, I think Nottingham Forest are quite vulnerable defensively, especially if you look at players like Sergio Aurier, players like that. He's quite rash, isn't he? And he seems to play a decent amount for them. But they do have a lot of threats, to be honest with you, Kev.
Attacking wise, wow, if they've got to sign the Argentinian midfielder from Seville. They've got Adiwine. He caused us problems last season on many of occasions. We scored 2 at the bridge. They've got Brennan Johnson, Gibbs White. They've got a lot of players that can. Yeah, they've got a lot of players that can threaten you going forward. And last season at the bridge, they got it completely right. They knew that Chelsea wasn't the best team playing. We wasn't a good playing team. We was crap to watch. So they came out and pressed us quite a lot up the pitch. But what we seen last week against United, they got United twice on the counter last week. So I think they're going to want to set up. I think you'll see a different Forest to what we've seen last year. I think they'll want to sit back and get us on the counter this year. So we've got to be completely up for that transition, what they're going to bring to us. So we've got to go with 2 defensive midfielders. I think that'll be the safe option. So in transition, they're not going to get us. But we'll see a lot of the ball against Forest. But it's just, can we break them down? And can we be on their overload when they're in the transition? Can we get back and can we fill the gaps as quick as possible? Because they've got dangerous players, Brennan Johnson, Gibbs White, and Away that can get you on the counter very, very quick.
Well, that's the thing as well. We'll leave a lot of spaces for them, and Poch is happy to do that. Especially with those wing backs being pushed up, or wingers, whatever you want to call them. That there's always space. I always find around, where Chile and Colwell is. There's always that space in the corner on the left and on the right as well. I mean, Gusto's going to have the freedom to go up, I'm sure. So, I mean, that's where players like Caicedo come in, though. And that's where you need to see the best out of him, recovering defensively, bailing out players when they do go forward. But, I mean, we haven't seen enough of Poch's system to really judge. Do you think we're playing with a back 3 or can you see a back 4?
It looks like it's a bit of both. On the defense, it looks like a 5. So basically, I can compare it to a bit like the Villa. So when we went to the Villa away game when Mount scored that free kick, it looked a bit like that. But what I can say, it looks a bit more together. If you can see what I mean.
Yeah.
Against we tried to do the same kind of thing. But Cucurella was going out to the left and he was leaving a massive space for Ollie Watkins to exploit. What you see now is Lewis Cole was a lot more solid than Cucurella on the defense, and he's got the long pass in his locker as well to move forward. Cucurella's all backwards. So what he's doing is inviting the pressure on because the ball's always going that way. Levi Cole will open up his body, ping the ball up through the channels, and put us on the attack. So I think it's more of a 4 on the defense. Levi Cole will shift across to make it a 4. But when we on the defense, it'll drop back, and then Ben Chilwell will drop back round, and it's more of a 5. So if you get it right, it can be a pretty lethal formation, but it's a bit of a try and error at the moment. And defensively, like I said, we haven't looked the strongest. So I think we should just revert to what we know. Just go back to the 4-2-3-1. Keep it nice and simple, and not try and overdo it. Because what we find now is Chilwell is going up top, but he hasn't got the skill of the tricky to beat him, man. So what we find is now Chilwell's up there on the left side with one player short. When we could have a better player out there in the Madueke or a Madueke that can cause him more problems on the left-hand side rather than Chilwell, who's just going to get the ball, look up, and look to pass it back. He's not going to try and take a player on.
I mean, to be honest with you, the player that comes to mind when I think of a straight swap for Chilwell is Ian Maatsen. I think he's very reliable up top. I think he can create chances, definitely score a goal. And then I think he's shown at Burnley he's capable of tracking back and doing his defensive duties as well. Is that a realistic option, or is it still a little bit too early? Because obviously he did have minutes against Wimbledon, but apart from that, not so much.
Did he play well against Wimbledon? I couldn't tell you.
He was decent, but he didn't play on the left-hand side. He played as a 10.
Right, didn't it? Oh, did he? Okay.
He was a 10, and he played well, Kev. He had a few chances, almost scored. But I think it's a case of, it's like any player. We speak about Mudryk and you need a run of games. I think it's the same with Maatsen, but I can justify it more because I think he's just generally more consistent and reliable. You know what you're going to get.
I think mate's going to be a better shot than Chilwell, but I think the only reason why he started with Chilwell is because he's second captain, isn't he?
That's it. You need the experience.
So it's difficult to drop your second captain. But if in that case, you've just got to play with what you know. Just go back with the 4. There's no point. I said it a couple of weeks ago. When you play the 5, you're losing one attacking player. We're losing 2 attacking players. Chilwell's on the left, and we're losing another attacking midfielder. You might as well, obviously, we haven't got a Cam in the squad at the moment, so that's the reason why he's probably doing it. But we're 2 attacking players short just through playing at formation.
Well, it depends if Palmer's able to play the game as well. If Cole Palmer's available, I can see him starting straight away, to be honest. He can slot straight into that 10 role. I mean, I was chatting with Charlie early on about it. He thinks that, the only reason we bought Palmer was because Nkunku's out and we just need to fill that void. But I think there's a little bit more to it than that. I don't think you're spending that much money and taking a risk on a young player without game time.
He's a really good player. And he can play right wing, left wing, striker. Not too sure about the 10. I don't think he's a natural 10. He hasn't really struck me as someone who's going to get in the gaps and assist. But who's to say if he gets opportunities, he's not going to do well there. So just bring him. He's got all the potential to do well. But let's see him. I haven't seen him in the camp yet for me to suggest that he could do a good job.
Are you happy with the signing?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, we went to the City game last year, and he probably practically finished Dave's career with us. He had Dave on freaking pins, mate. Dave didn't have a clue what hit him. He was there, trickery. Dave didn't know if to go towards him or drop off. he looked really good. He's a good player in the Euros. Seen a lot of him in the Euros as well, top class. And he scored in the Charity Shield against Arsenal, and he scored against Seville in the Super Cup as well. So
Both cracking goals, Kev. I mean, they're not
cuts
easy
inside.
goals.
No, no,
We
no.
always,
You
we
might.
always talk about tap-ins with City, but I mean, these are worldies, mate.
Yeah. He cuts in. He's a bit like Riyad Mahrez / Robin, the way players on the right can cut inside, and he doesn't. For me, it's more of a controlled shot rather than lashing at it. He just controls it into the corner, and that's technique what you can't teach. So he's already got the technique there. Obviously, he's got to improve. How old is he? 21? 21, is
I
he?
don't even think he's like that. I think he's like 18 or something, 18 or 19.
Yeah.
He's really, really young. I mean, we'll
Wow.
double check it in a second, but yeah, he's not old at all. Certainly younger than Mount and Gallagher. Two young players that came
He's
from our
21.
Oh, he is
21.
20. He is 21.
21.
I mean,
Well,
it's young though,
that's still
Kev. I mean,
still
and
very young. Yeah.
what great experience he's got. I mean, playing under Guardiola, playing at Man City, already winning trophies at this age as well. I mean, he's already won 2 trophies this season, Kev. It's
Yeah.
barely started. So
Yeah.
we can't say that, look, he's a natural winner, because I don't think you can be when you're 21. I think it takes years to prove that, but he's got experience of winning. And I mean, if there's one thing this squad doesn't have, it's that. So hopefully he can help bring that mentality. Because when we just talk about Chilwell as well, the only reason he's second captain, mate, is because he's one of the only players that's actually been in the winning side of Chelsea. We haven't got players that have won leagues here like we used to. We haven't got real leaders who have carried this club forward properly. I mean, we had a few of those players last season, like Kovacic and Loftus-Cheek, just to name a couple who've been successful. But I mean, we're basically just starting from scratch. So as far as I'm concerned with Cole Palmer, he comes in, does well. I mean, you can just, by the click of a finger, you can become the main man for Chelsea. And that actually it's an interesting one, because it gives Nkunku a job. Because when he comes back, if Palmer's firing all cylinders, you've got no reason to drop the guy. So,
Mate,
I mean, you have good problems, don't you, as a manager?
Yeah, precisely that. Like I said, I don't know if he's a natural number 10 like Nkunku, but if who's to say he isn't going to come in and do a good job? If he does, Nkunku's got to come back and he's got to prove himself. And that's if there's no competition in the squad, players don't have to give 100% because they know the week after. If you want to play, you know that every minute that you get, you have to do well. But like I said, from what I've seen of Cole Palmer for City, brilliant potential, but he hasn't really done it yet. But give him the time where he's going to get at Chelsea. He can come in and he can slot straight in. He could take anyone's shirt in that for free beyond the striker, even the striker position as well. So, all good news, good signing. I think we've been smart with the signing as well, not going abroad, bringing in someone who's English.
Yeah.
As well as that, he knows a lot of players. He knows Chukwuemeka, he knows Colwell, he knows Sterling. Like, it's fit straight in. So it's Madueke. Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go. Fit straight in.
Changing room, man. So
that
makes a big difference. We already know that. But yeah, I mean, just moving on then, Kev. I think we both think Chelsea will win against Forest. What's your prediction going into that game?
Oh, I never. It just depends on how we're going to set up.
Let's say we start with a back three, right, like we did against West Ham. How do you see it then? And then if we were going to go with a 4, like you want,
I'd say a draw with the back three.
Okay,
I'd say
like a 1-1 or a 0-0.
2-2, something like last season. 1-1, 2-2.
Yeah.
Well, because I could see Forest getting us. If we got that 3 at the back formation, I could see him getting down the side of us. So if we got Colwell and Disasi on that side, that's where they're going to want to attack. Because if you've got Chilwell pushed up and you've got who's going to play right wing back, Gusto pushed up, their tactics going to be get down the side of us. So you're going to get Brennan Johnson, Gibbs White getting in there. then we're going to get a wide budget up, and I think they're going to cause us problems. If we play with a 4, that just gives us more of the ball. We can control the midfield a bit better, and I think our attacking players are going to be more cutting inside, so it's going to give their problems for their defence, because they also play with a 3 at the back. Sure they do. They play with a 3 at the back as well, don't they? So
yeah, they got Willy Bolly and all that. They got some big boys down there. So
yeah.
it's not
Their
an easy
defence
break down, but they like to attack. So I'm sure there will be space, Kev. But if they drop deep, that's where we'll struggle.
So that's what I mean. So it's all a tactical battle. I think we're not going to see the same Forest as we did last year. They seen the weaknesses what we had, and we were shit playing at the back, and they was just pressing, and they got a goal off a throw-in, didn't they? We had a throw-in, and we lost the ball. They crossed the ball in, and we had a simple header because you know. So I think they probably seen that we've improved on our play, so they're not going to want to press us as much because it'll leave space for us to get in behind. So I think what they'll do is they'll want to drop and get us on the counter. So what you'll probably see is the same Forest that played against United. If we do play before, I could probably see it being 2-1 to us.
Yeah. I was going to say, Kev, as well, mate. Their striker, what's his name? Awaniyi. Mate, he is quality. I don't know about you, but
he's good.
You know when a team signs a striker and they get like 10 goals in a season or whatever it is, and you go, oh, okay, no problem, whatever. It's not really that deep, is it? Because then you got players like Tony that are banging in goals, and everyone talks about him. But this guy, I mean, he keeps going the way he's going, then big clubs are going to come sniffing straight away because he's big, he's strong, he's good in the air, and mate, he's clinical because you don't get goals every game with Forest like you do with bigger teams. So, I mean, to be able to have that tally, I think he's scored in his past 9 games, I heard, or something like that. He's looking to beat Vardy's record. So, I mean, he's got a lot of motivation to score against us. So we have to watch out. But I think we'll be okay as long as we're not too risky. I mean, Caicedo is a massive plus for us. But I think if we press too hard, mate, I mean, you already said it with Johnson and Gibbs-White. Those guys specialize, you know, in those positions when they got space. And Johnson's not really a finisher, is he? But he can create, and then they've got a number 9 in form. And as far as I'm concerned, Gibbs-White could get into most teams in the Prem. I don't think people rate him enough. But maybe it would be different if the team wasn't built around him, because I feel like he is sort of the centerpiece of Forest, if you know what I
mean. Yeah. Precisely. I understand that we're gonna want to. A lot of Chelsea fans are gonna be like, it's Nottingham Forest, and you know we should be getting a point. It's not going to be an easy game, but nowhere near. It's going to be very, very tight, tactical battle, and we've got to contain their counter because that's just what's going to get us. And when we went to Forest away last year, and away that same striker he's on about, he was getting in behind us every. Koulibaly had a freaking probably still having nightmares now from that game. The way he got in behind creating Koulibaly every time. Every time he was first to that ball. He's quick. He's strong, and he's an absolute threat. So we've got to be up for it. We've got to contain their threat for us to even have a chance. But if I'm going to be confident, it's a must win. It's a must win. We've got to, you know, Pochettino understands the importance of Stamford Bridge being a fortress for us. We can't lose now. We can't lose at home. We can't have that mentality that we lose in our own games, especially, Forest, not the biggest club. They're still going to be a threat, but the less we can go away with this game is a draw. We can't have a loss, so it's going to be either a draw or a loss. And the lads have got to understand the importance of making Stamford Bridge a fortress like it used to be, say, 6-7 years ago.
That's it, mate. We need to get back to winning ways at the Bridge. But listen, guys, thank you so much for watching another episode of the Chelsea Fan TV preview show. If you agree with us, let us know. If you don't, let us know as well. Always interesting to read your comments and see what you've got to say. But I think me and Kevin, generally speaking, we're both confident. there's a lot of threats you got to be aware of. It's not exactly Luton Town we're playing against, so you know, much more to worry about. But we should get the job done, really. But listen, guys, all the best, and we will see you very, very soon.